Okay, so today we're going to have a little go at doing some Easter crochet, and we're going to make one of these mini little Easter eggs. It's a really simple little pattern. It's really good for using up any kind of small scrap pieces of yarn that you've got. Really easily interchangeable and adaptable for different sizes. But today we're going to have a go at making this little one here, which is the one with the little flowers. So to do that, what we're going to need is our 3 separate colours. Scissors. I'm using a 3.5mm hook, and then you're going to need a needle. I'm also going to be using a piece of scrap yarn as a stitch marker, and then you're going to want to stuff your eggs. And I'm actually going to be using this stuff here, which is actually made from recycled plastic bottles, but doesn't matter what you use. You can use whatever you've got handy. You can even use some sort of surplus yarn that you've got, and some scrap yarn lying around to stuff it with. Doesn't matter, they're only tiny. So let's begin. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to make a magic circle. So we tie a knot, pop the hook into the gap in the knot, the cross section. We're then going to pull through and then single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Tie in our circle. We've got our 6 single crochets there on the hook. So the first round, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochets in each of the single crochets that we just did in the previous round. So we'll have 12 single crochets in this round total. Okay, so one, 2, 3, 4, and you see I'm doing 2 in each hole, so that's 5, and then 6 again into the same hole, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then finally we'll do our 11, 12. That's our second row complete. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in the stitch marker, place it over the yarn just so that we know where each row starts and ends. And I'm going to single crochet 1 in each stitch the whole way round, so this row will have 12 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and we're then going to just take our stitch marker and we're going to place it over that next row so that we know where we begin. Now for this next row, what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 1 into one hole, and then into the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. So you'll have 18 total by the end of this round. So first hole we do 1 single crochet, and then in this second hole here we do 2 single crochets, so that's 1, and then back into the same hole, 2, and then in the next one we just do our 1 single crochet, and in the next hole we do 2, and we just repeat that the whole way round back to our stitch marker. Okay, so we're back round again, so we just pull our stitch marker over to the next row, and in this next row we're just going to do 1 single crochet the whole way round, and you should have 18 single crochets in this row. Okay, so we're back round to the stitch marker again. So what we're going to do, place that stitch marker over the top, And into this next row, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then in the third one we're going to do 2 single crochets. We'll do our increase in the third. So we'll go 1, then into the next stitch we'll do another one, and then into the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1, then into that same hole again, 2. Okay, so again we're going to go 1 single crochet in the next hole, 1 single crochet in the next hole, and then into the next hole we do our single crochet, and then we go back again into that same hole to increase. And we're going to do that the whole way around. You should have 24 stitches in total for this row. Okay, so we can take our stitch marker over the top, and now for the next 6 rows we're just going to do 1 single crochet the whole way round. So that'll be 24 single crochets per row, and we're going to do that 6 times. Okay, so just the same the whole way round. Okay, so now that we've done our 6 rows of 24 single crochets, we're actually going to start to do our decreases now. So what we're going to do, pull our stitch marker across, like that. We're going to do 2 single crochets, and we're actually now going to put our egg the right way around. I'm going to do that because we're going to do an invisible decrease. So to do that, what we do is we pop our hook into the first loop of the next stitch, catch the yarn and pull it through, and then in the next stitch we're going to go and put the hook through the front loop, catch the yarn and pull it through, and you'll then have 3 loops on your hook. You're then going to yarn over and pull it through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, and then we're going to repeat. So single crochet in the next hole, single crochet in the next hole, and then we're going to decrease. So hook through the front loop, the next stitch, and then put the hook through the front loop of the stitch after that, catch the yarn, pull it through, so there's 3 loops on the hook, catch the yarn, pull it through. And we're going to do that the whole way round. Okay, so now we're going to pop the stitch marker over the top like that and continue working over the top of it. For the next row, what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 1 and then decrease 1. So next stitch, single crochet 1, and then in the following 2 stitches we're going to put our hook into that front loop again, catch the yarn, pull it through, and into the next stitch we're going to catch the yarn and pull it through that front loop. Okay, and then we're going to repeat again. So single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the following one we're going to put our hook through the front loop, catch the yarn and pull it through, and into the next stitch we're going to go through that front loop again, catch the yarn, pull it through, and then catch the yarn, pull it through all 3 loops on the hook. And then we're just going to repeat that until we get back round to the beginning. Okay, so now what we're actually going to do is we're going to stuff our egg with our stuffing. So what we can do is just poke the tail inside, we don't need that, and just begin to push the stuffing in. You can start to see the egg actually taking shape now. So a bit more, I think. Tiny bit more. Okay, now we can finish up and close this off. So you can actually remove your stitch marker now. That's all done with. You can see it's kind of egg shaped. So what we're going to do now to the end is we're just going to do decreased stitches. Same way as before. Put our hook into that front loop of the next stitch, and then front loop of the stitch after that. Catch the yarn, pull it through all 3 loops on the hook. We're going to do that until we get to the end. Last one. Okay. So now take our hook out, snip our yarn, and we can then pull the tail through the loop. There we go. Now we can get our needle. And we can just simply go through down the bottom of the egg and then come all the way out somewhere at the top. Just pull the yarn nice and tight, and that stuffing is going to hold everything in place. So and there we have our little crochet egg. Now, don't have to in any way put the flowers on it. But what we're going to do now is we're going to embroider these little daisies onto the front. So to do that, we're going to need our white, and we're going to cut off a section about 20 to 30 centimeters long. Okay. Good tie knot in the end. And now we're going to take our needle, like so. We're going to go through the back of our egg. We're going to come out of the front, okay? So we're just going to pull and pull the knot through. It won't come out the other end, but it needs to have gone through the back. Okay. So what we're going to do in the front is we're going to go up into the hole above where your thread came through, where the yarn came through. And we're just going to go through. And same again, into the same hole. There we go. We're then going to go at a diagonal. So oops. Then we're going to go down to the next one below. Coming again back up into that centre one. That same point is always the centre. Get to 2 of those. We're going to go diagonal again and come up in that centre. Diagonal again. And then one more petal. And we're going to go off to the side and come back up the centre. That is our first set of petals. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go down and come up at another point on the egg. It's down here somewhere. And we're basically going to repeat that. So, we're going to do our first petal. Second petal. Third petal. Fourth petal. Ooh, I'm running out of yarn here. Final one. And we're just going to tie a little knot there and come off, and we're going to put the hook through the egg, come out somewhere at the back, put it through, and then we're just going to snip it off. Okay, so obviously you can have as many of these little daisies as you want. You can cover the whole egg if you like. What we're going to do now is our yellow centres of the daisy. So cut about decent sized length, maybe about 30 centimetres again. Tie a knot in our yarn. And we take our needle. We're going to go in the back of our egg, and we're going to come out the front, middle point of one of our flowers. Okay? Now you want to make sure, again, is that your yellow isn't poking out the back, that the knot has come the whole way through. Okay, so what we're actually going to do now is a stitch called a French knot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn and wrap it around the needle twice. Okay, we're then going to keep that on the needle and go back down into that same middle hole. Okay, and we're going to come out down at our next flower. What that does is makes a little knot in the centre of your egg, of the flower on your egg, and we're going to do the same again. So 1, 2, we're going to go down the egg, and we're actually just going to come out the back here, just making another knot. There we go, and then we can snip off our tail, and there we have our tiny little embroidered flowers on our egg.